And we are live. Hey. Hi and welcome. I'm Kaylee from Fantasmic Fandoms, and I have Allie with me today from Cinder Ali Loves Disney. I love your pink, by the way.
Thank
We're
you.
kind of a Sleeping Beauty, like make it pink, make it blue kind of thing. We're kind of contrasting, but it's really kind of cute. Also, hello, Emily Rose. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited. So this is the second of my live show series, which is called Keeping It Kind. And I created the series because I wanted to, first of all, I wanted to highlight some people in the community that I feel like do a really good job of like being kind and being like positive in the community. I've shared before, I kind of had like, bad experiences being on social media before. And then I came to YouTube and I had some good experiences. And I kind of just wanted to create some like positivity and spread that. But also, I just wanted to talk to creators about their YouTube journey and, kind of what they enjoy about creating. So I have Allie here. And Allie, we have a past. We know each other from a while back, right?
Yeah, almost since the beginning of our channels, pretty much.
Yes.
So
Yes. Which I think, what month was it that you and Nina started y'all's around the same time, right?
we started in May, her and I both.
May.
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually think I started mine in June. That was the first time I posted a video. So we were kind of right around the same time starting channels. Y'all stuck with it though, and I did it. But I remember like seeing you at first, and like I remember our early interactions, I always thinking you were nice. So when I came back, I was like, let me reach out to like some of the people that were really nice to me. And Allie was like so sweet. I wrote all this down more articulately in a blog post that's linked in the description post down below. But she was really nice and offered to collab with me. Like I wanted to do something for Vlogmas because I was crazy and I wanted to do Vlogmas coming back. And so Allie, last minute, agreed to do a tag with me. And that was really, like, look back on my YouTube journey. And that was such a significant moment for me. It honestly was like a big thing that changed my entire YouTube journey and my life, because I can call Allie a friend now. And I'm just like so grateful. So,
yes, because we talked outside of
yeah.
YouTube. So
Yeah, we did. No, because that was like the other thing is like, I had talked to people on YouTube before and like had comments and like, had friends, but like I never really had people I talked to outside of YouTube about things that weren't like just YouTube. And so like Allie, when we finished our tag, she was like still messaging me, still like checking on me, still being nice. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? This is so sweet. I'm like, I just wasn't expecting that. And like, for her to like take the time to do that was like really impactful for me, to be like that nice and to still be in my, like, it's been over a year and we're still we're still friends and still like so sweet just because we did that one tag together. And Allie, you really always, you are good about like, you always really try to connect with people. And I really appreciate that about you. And like, I know you've really tried to reach out and try to be, like a person that people can talk to and like a friendly face. And that's something a lot of people, I think, not necessarily with bad intentions, but people a lot of times don't do because they're like more shy. And you really do try. I think anyone that you come across in the community, you've always been really good about like coming out and being like, hey, like, I'm Allie.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I really do. And I mean, it's hard to do with every single person, and maybe not everyone will reciprocate that as well. But it's nice when you connect with someone like you and I did on a different level outside of just YouTube, but just in life in general. And then we're able to just, have conversations and form a friendship and still keep in touch and not just let it be writing comments, which I still love. I mean, I would love to be able to do that way with everybody, but I know that's not possible. But, I love connecting with people in comments as well, but it's a little bit different when you can actually form a friendship outside of that. So it means a lot.
Yeah. I think it like, you know, I talked with Ajana Claire about it last episode, which was, you know, I think it's so important to like have that community. And there's been times even like since I came back where I've like been like, oh, like you know, sometimes I just want to quit YouTube. And, you know, but I still feel like even if I did, I would still, you know, have you to talk. Like I would still keep in
Oh
touch with
yeah,
you and stuff because it does go deeper than YouTube.
right.
And you know, I feel like like you said, we have a friendship outside of this that is more than YouTube. Um, but let's go ahead. I just want to kind of give a little history, you know, to kind of explain our friendship. But let's go back to the beginning of your YouTube channel and what made you decide you wanted to start this channel called Cinder Ali Loves Disney.
It was a lot of time, thought, and preparation went into it. First of all, I planned for a good 6 months before
Oh
I
wow.
actually launched my channel. Like from everything from like what was my catchphrase going to be, what was my title, my channel title going to be. I mean, I planned all of it out. But not to get too far ahead into some of the other questions because it kind of ties into some other stuff. But
Yeah.
I will say the main reason, two main reasons. One, we had just moved out of California and I had no friends or family here where I was living. And I really missed Disney. And I
Yeah.
started watching other Disney YouTubers and I saw just how much fun they had together. And there was really friendships that were formed and bonded. And I was like, I want some like-minded Disney friends because I really had nobody in like the Disney community because I wasn't as heavily into Disney community when I lived in California. I mean, I went there a lot, but I never had like, I was never part of the community the way I am now. So so actually moving out of California was kind of a blessing in disguise because it spawned like a whole nother part of my life.
Yeah.
So just having the friendships and the community and the like-minded individuals to be around was really, and the fact that I have been collecting for over 25 years now. I was like, I have so many things I'd love to just share and show and make friends while I'm at it. So that's the long and the short of it.
I think that's great, Allie. I think you're a little frozen on my side. Okay, good. I'm like, I can hear you now. Okay, you got frozen for like a
Yeah,
second.
I paused because I saw it froze, and it's probably my internet. And what's funny is it didn't do it at all the whole time we were backstage, right? So of course now
Yeah.
we're live and it's freezing. So if I freeze, just wait, I'll come back.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Um, yeah, I think that's so cool that you did put so much preparation into it. I will say, you know, like you said, not to get too far ahead into like, you know, some of the other stuff, but I do think that is a good idea if you can do it. There are like two types of people in the world. I feel like the people who like are planners and the people who are, you know, the pantsers. And I'm a planner in a lot of facets of my life, but when I started my channel, I was like, it was just random and everywhere. And I think that's why, you know, I'm going through a rebranding because I've changed as a person since I've started it. But also like, I didn't like sit down and think about these questions before I started about like, you know, where do I want to take it and, you know, what direction. And I think if you're wanting to be serious, those are questions that you do need to ask kind of on the front end. But like, if you just want to do it for fun too, which is what I started out
Yeah,
doing, then like, you know, be like
yeah.
me and just like spur the moment do things. But
There's no right or wrong way to do it. You know, like you said, some
yeah,
people do it one way, some are not. And what's funny is I'm not always that way in my life. There are aspects of my life where I'm the same thing. Like I'm like 5 minutes before I need to do something, I'm trying to do it. But in this particular case, I really just wanted to, there were so many things I wanted to accomplish and focus out of it. So I was like, I really want to have this ready. I got my logo done. I like did all the stuff ahead of time because I wanted to have it ready. So
yeah, I really like your logo too. Your logo is really nice. So did you have that
it's
professionally
paint. So
done or?
yes, and
Oh,
so there's
okay.
there's two logos. So the first one I'm talking about is the channel banner that's kind of on my YouTube. It's pink and it's
Oh,
got the
okay.
castle and it just
Yeah.
has the writing that says Cinder Ali Loves
Yes.
Disney. I did that. I worked with a graphic designer, a friend of a friend, to get that done, and then a friend that I made in this Disney community did my icon that has me in the cartoonish form with the
Yeah.
castle Yeah, and the slipper on the pillow. He did all of that. Him and I worked together. I gave him my idea and my concept, and he did all of that. So he's amazing. He does great
Yeah.
work. So yeah.
That's
So that was
very
fun.
stunning. Stunning. I've seen both, obviously, but they're both very stunning, and I think that that's really cool and makes a difference. Mine have changed a million times, so I give you props. I guess putting all that work into it, you're like, I'm sticking with this one. Mine, I wish I could find one that I could stick with. That I'm happy.
It's hard.
I'm happy
Well, and
with.
then
Yeah.
I got scared too because of that whole COPA or COPA, whatever you want to call it, like
Yeah.
2 years ago when they were talking about people who might have to drop Disney off their name of their channels, or they wouldn't be able to be considered like get monetized or whatever. There were so many stipulations and things going around about that. And we were all so nervous. And I was like, man, I might have to rebrand and change my name. And thankfully I didn't have to do that, at least not yet.
Yeah.
So yeah. Because it just wouldn't sound the same. I was just going to drop the Loves Disney and just make it Cinder Ali, which I could eventually, but me as a person, Cinder Ali loves Disney, so it just makes sense to have it as that.
I like it, and I also think I loved the creativity of your name. You know,
Thank you. Yeah, again,
it's like
it was long and hard
really,
thought process behind it.
Well, and it fits you so perfectly too, because you are like, I think it's a cute name anyways, but then like you add the fact that like a big part of your channel literally is Cinderella and like you're Cinderella. So it makes
and
so
my
much
collection, a lot of it is Cinderella.
Yeah. So it's perfect. So
and even though my name is Alicia and I go by both, I've like my whole high school life, I was known as Allie. Like people didn't call me Alicia. So I literally have like two names in my world outside of YouTube. People call me Allie and people call me Alicia. It doesn't matter which, but it made sense for me because I still went by the nickname Allie. So it made sense for me to do it as Cinder Ali. So
right. So what do you think your biggest success has been since you joined YouTube?
I mean, yeah. Okay. Let's do two different. I'm going to do two different aspects of that. So on a more personal level, that's not necessarily YouTube-ish in a way, it's the friendships for me. It literally has been the lasting, lifelong, what I'm calling lifelong, because some of them I've had for 3 and 4 years that like I talk to almost every day, so it's literally like they've become like, you guys have all become like my family, my best friends. And so that I think is a huge, huge success. Now, if I want to go to the YouTube part of it in a way, it felt really wonderful to hit the 1,000 subscribers and to be monetized. So that those are two huge like accomplishments that sometimes it felt like it was never going to get there, but when it did, it was wonderful, And so yes, I'm striving and shooting for other things in the YouTube business part of it, or however you want to word that. But it was, those are, I would consider my biggest successes so far.
Yeah, those are really good. I like to, like, there is a personal aspect to it. And then there's also, like, I think a lot of people get into the business aspect too, even if you don't want to. It's like, it's hard not to be like, oh, I want to hit 1,000 and oh, I want to get those watched hours, And a lot of people don't ever achieve that, So that is such a big accomplishment as well.
It's tough because, you were saying, that you thought about like taking a step back or, whatever. It can be hard and frustrating too. Like I thought, I was looking back at my, my old planners and stuff. And I was like, I thought it was January of last year that I hit 1,000. No, it was like in September, almost a year and a half ago. So I hit 1,000 subscribers a year and a half ago. And I only have like 120 people after that. So in a year and a half, I've only gained 120 subscribers, which some people like that like they're hitting like 5 times that in a few months. So you really have no idea how it's going to happen. My numbers constantly, like every week, they go up and down. I gain one, I lose one. I gain one, I lose one in the same week. So you just never know how that part is going to go. It's a hit or miss. So you just go with it.
I definitely have that too, because that is frustrating, and like that is something that like also I feel like can be a reason that a lot of people quit because people get very discouraged and they're
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, like, I did all this work and then I lose some and then I gain some. And I think that is honestly, it sounds like cliche, but at the end of the day, if you got to be happy doing what you're doing.
Yes.
And like, I think the subscribers are nice. I think the community is a really nice part, especially other YouTubers and people who you genuinely can connect with, whether they have a YouTube channel or not, and like get that engagement. But you kind of have to like not compare yourself to others too,
Right.
is something that I think is hard to not do, but it's something
Mhm.
that I think is very helpful when you are struggling coming up, to not compare yourself to other YouTubers. Cause like I even got where I was doing that, in the Facebook group, which the link to the Facebook group is down below. If anyone has not joined it, it's the Disney YouTube group. And
Oh,
even when I was on there, like there were some people I remember like seeing like, oh, we all have about the same number of subscribers. And then like I'll kind of like look at their channel, 6 months later, and they'll have like so many more than me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm so behind. So it is very hard, especially like when you feel like you're giving your all and like you're like, I don't know what more what more I can
right.
do. So I don't know. I just feel like if it is something that you want to do long term, you have to kind of have that passion for it anyways, and it not be about subscribers, because if it's all about like subscribers, unless you get super lucky, I do think that like you're gonna probably be at a point where you're like, oh, it's not worth all this work to just get like one subscriber a week.
Some days it feels like it when you look at
Yeah.
it in that aspect. I mean, like one of the things I talk about in the goal video that I put up last week is that I wanted to find the joy in it again, because all of that stuff
Mhm.
can weigh on you, and it kind of sucks the joy out of it,
Yeah.
out of everything. So yeah, I totally get that.
I do think it can be like, well, my it's funny you say that, because like the sermon that I actually watched this morning for church was talking about like joy is very intentional. Like you have to be intentional about finding joy, and not, I think it's like the whole half glass full, half glass empty thing. Like you
Yeah.
can look at it and be like, oh, like well, for me, okay, let me just tell you, like my analytics right now say like from the past 28 days I've lost 6 subscribers, because I was
Mhm.
at one point I was at 560, and now I'm like, I've been at 554 for forever. And it was like super discouraging to me, because my December goal was 560, and I did get it. I did get it, and then I got it taken away. And so that was like so discouraging for me, because I was like, oh, well, but I think you also have to like look at different factors. Sometimes it's nothing to do with your channel. It can be doing like, sometimes YouTube removes subscribers for like random unknown reasons. And then also like
Mhm.
the time of the year, I think too, can make an impact on your subscribers and stuff. But like, you just, I try not to get too bogged down in it, which it kind of brings us to, we've kind of been talking about this next question, which was like, what's your biggest challenge since starting your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Kind of talked about the subscribers, which I think can be a challenge as well.
Well, and for me, it's probably really it's time, and
Yeah.
it's time putting in creating. It's time to edit. It's time to watch your fellow community members that you're connected with. It really is about time and kind of managing it and what you can actually commit yourself to doing. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big struggle for sure. For sure. Um, I think I would agree that's probably still one of my biggest struggles for sure. So you did have a goal video that came out where you talked about your goal. But go ahead for people. Honestly, I'm still behind on videos. I actually haven't seen that video yet. So just briefly tell me, what are some of your goals, like specifically for this year? You mentioned the joy. What are some other goals that you have other than that?
Well, the first one that I started off with was getting back to a consistency, as far as
Yes.
making sure that every single my because I used to, for like the first couple years plus 2+ years, every single week I was putting out a video at a specific date on a specific time. And in addition to that, I was on a live stream every single week. So it was a lot to commit to. But, you know, and I kind of had to take a step back from all that. So now I'm trying to get back to the consistency part of every single week. I put out my video. I have a video ready and it goes up every week at the same time and all that kind of thing. So that's what I'm shooting for now. And so far, fingers crossed, knock on wood, for January, because I was able to film a few things in advance. I just have to edit it all now.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. It's every week I've been putting it out, and I still, you know, well, I'll get to that one when you talk about what's coming up on my channel. So, but yeah, as far as goals, consistency is definitely one of them. I wanted to commit a little bit more time to actually watching more people again, because when I first started YouTube, like that was my life. Like 7 days a week, I spent like almost 8 hours a day watching YouTube videos to try to keep up, and one, to connect with people, but two, to try to keep up on watching everything. And it got exhausting. So, and that's a little bit of part of what I meant when I said, you know, getting that joy back, because just all the commitments that were heavy on me, it was like, and plus with life adding all this extra stuff, it just got to be where it was just too much stress all the time. So I had to just kind of take a step back. So yeah, I mean, those are some of my goals, is just to get back to doing things consistently, finding that joy. I also want to potentially start a show. Like I've been wanting to do a live stream for a while. I've had the concept and everything written out, you know, me, the planner.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've had it, but I've had a hard time finding a date and time that I can do it consistently that fits with my schedule, you know? So hopefully eventually I can start that, even if I have to do it like once every couple weeks instead of every single week. We'll see. But I'm interested in starting that back up as well. So yeah, just that's a few things that I talked about in my video, among others, but yeah.
Yeah, that I'll definitely have to go watch that video. I saw it pop up. I'm just so, which is funny you mentioned the whole, like, you know, you used to watch YouTube videos for so long a day. I remember when I first started and we first started talking, you know, I was telling you, I was like, oh my gosh, like I got all these playlists and I'm trying to like watch all these videos and get a lot of exposure. And I was getting a lot of, like, honestly, I was getting a lot of subscribers and a lot of engagement when I was doing that. But you were like, girl, let me tell you, it's not going to last long time. You're like, it's too much. You'll burn out. And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, you know, I think I can do it. I maybe not to the level, because I was not working yet. I was between work and school at that time. It was like a few months span. I was like, you know, I'll have to cut it down some, but I'll still do it. You were so right. I mean, I was like, I cannot. That is one of my personal goals, is to kind of get back to engaging a little bit. Cause man, I mean, it just, like, when I'm burnt out, that was like the first thing to go. Cause I was like, I can't do it. Like, it just was so much out of me. But, you know, the people that still can consistently, I think that's great. I was just like, oh my gosh. Cause I was like watching, like, you know, full videos, or like, I wasn't just like, you know, doing a little and then like commenting. Like, I was watching like the entire video. I was writing these long comments.
Oh yeah, no, I
was really trying to engage.
And then it's tough because, like, I know some people that would like just like they'll watch it on their big screen TV or whatever, and then they'll go back later and comment. Well,
yeah,
I'm not going to remember what I wanted to say if I do that, you know. And then you have to, you know, like you said, you watch it and then oh crap, I have to go back in and try to, you know, comment on it or whatever, because I want them to know I watched it. But you know, I've had people tell me, you know, hey, I watch your videos all the time, but I just, you know, I don't get a comment as often as I like. So, you know, but the only problem with that is unless they tell me that, I don't know that you're watching unless you comment. That's the only way I know that someone's actually watching it. So, or that the regular people are watching it, I should say. Your regular audience.
I know, it's like, you know, when you post a new video and then like you see, like, you know, like the first few hours, like you see the people finding it, and I'm like, I wonder who like watched this video. Because like, if they don't comment, you don't know. And then I'm just like, well, who clicked on this video? And like, you know, that's kind of cool. And then like the likes will go up sometimes. I'm like, oh, you know, but and you kind of do, like, just even if it was just like a simple comment, I just want to know, for the fact of being like, who actually like took the time to like come to my video and watch it and like it. Like, that means a lot. So I want to go on to the next question, which you don't have to be super specific, because you can, and this one's a hard one, and I couldn't even probably answer this really well. But if you have any people that do inspire you in the community, this can be channels that are like the bigger channels or the smaller channels. It can be like when you first started, however you want to interpret this question, but just some creators in the community that inspire you either to, you know, continue because they're kind to you or just because you really enjoy their content.
See, yeah, you're
Hard
right. And
question.
that one was a tough one. So I did put some notes on that. And what I usually say when someone asks me kind of a question about that, like, oh, who are you watching or who that inspires you? And the thing is,
Yeah.
there's way too many people to mention, like everybody
Yeah.
does. What I usually kind of spin it to is I like to share who the very first YouTubers were that I ever started watching, and some of which I still do watch today to this date. So I just share like, because really, this is what I meant when I said this would kind of tie into the first couple questions you asked is,
Yeah.
those people, when I saw the fun they were having and all the friendships they had on these vlogs and all their outings, and I was like, man, that looks so cool. I would just love to be able to, you know, do meetups and meet with people and just all that fun stuff. But I'll share. And also, when you talk about goal, one of the people on this list when I saw them get a 100,000 subscriber plaque from YouTube, I was like, wow, that is amazing. Like, that is so cool. I would love to be able to have something like that one day, someday in the future. I mean, I'm not like pushing and out there shoving my way to try to get it, but I just think that was so cool. So I'm going to name some of those people. So the first person, the one I was talking about with this plaque, is Justin Scarred. I know some people in our community, they watch him too, so they know who he is. The others are Ryan at Disney Pins blog. And him and I, we have like a friendship now, which is kind of cool. Like, I've never met him, but we chat like on private message often. So we've talked about like meeting each other hopefully in the future. So that to me is like that. I'm fangirling over that. Okay. So him, and then of course Becca from Disney Kitty, who was like, I think like one of the very first ones out there, and Emily at she's changed. I own several pairs of her Disney ears.
I know who you're talking about though. What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's been a minute, but yeah, she has she has a shop for her ears. Yes.
She just got her. She's a geologist, and she just got her doctorate, and so yeah, she's.
No,
I've been following them for years. Like years. I mean, probably 7-8 years I've been watching some of them. So
Emily is really sweet too. She's really good about like talking about like scrappers and like what's a fake pin and what's a real pin. And like I did have a pin I got that I wasn't sure, and I like messaged her, and she was like really sweet, and she responded and like told me about it. So I really appreciated that. And you know, Becca, I feel like everyone, you know, and that's done pins. You've seen Disney Kitty, or you're a part of the Facebook group. And she was actually one of the very first ones that I watched that made me start doing some pins, you know, on my channel. So it's funny. You do, like you said, you see someone and you're like, oh my gosh, they're having such a fun time. And like, that's really one thing that I think inspires people to start their own channel. And I think it's good to have that, like, inspiration, you know, to like be inspired by other people. I think that's a good thing.
Literally those four people, it was 4 or 5, 4, they're the ones who inspired me to start doing a channel, because I saw, like I said, they had so much fun. They were sharing their collections. They were, you know, meeting with people and having a great time and on outings and all that, and on trips. And I was like, wow, that just looks like so much fun. I'd love to, you know, be able to do that. So
yeah. Do you know, there's some, you talking about like that community and that like, the friends on there. I used to, watch like the British vloggers, you know, and they all are kind of like almost incestuous with each other. They're all like together all the time and having all this vlog content, but they like, you can tell they like genuinely enjoy being together. Right. And it's like, that's so sweet. So like you share it and like people enjoy watching that, but like you can tell it's really genuine. And I enjoy seeing any kind of group on YouTube where like the friend group and you see them like collabing, but you can tell they're collabing because they really do enjoy each other, and not just for like, oh, like you have this many subscribers and I have this many subscribers and we should collab for that reason, which I do. I feel like you can tell a lot of the time when that is the case.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because like the vibe is a little different. I think when like you're like you're just doing this to like do the subscriber thing. You don't really, you know, you don't
Yeah.
really want to enjoy it. But
And you can tell, like you said, the genuine ones, like even like
yeah,
Adam the Woo, like I'm sure you know. Have you heard of Adam the
yeah,
Woo? Yeah.
I've
So
yes,
you see him, and he hangs out with like a core set of people, and they're like, whenever there's events, they're always together. It's that core set of people that are always going to be hanging out, but they obviously do it because they enjoy each other's company and they're friends in real life. It's not because they're like, oh, hey, let's try to collab because we want to do this or that. They're just all having fun. They're all going to be there, so let's hang out together.
yeah. I do think it is something that you have to kind of when you're collabing, I do think you kind of have to be careful about who you collab with and like not to be, obviously I'm all about being kind, but you also just have to be careful because there are people that will try to use you and try to just like, be kind of negative with it. So I would just say like you kind of want to be friends with people first and like at least know them a little bit before you just jump into like a collab with someone because
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of people who do see it as a subscriber thing. Which isn't necessarily wrong. I just think it's people can get hurt if the intentions aren't clear.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
do you have a favorite video of yours that you've created or favorite videos? You can share more than one if you have several that you really enjoy.
Yeah. So I was looking at my notes because I was like, my ultimate favorite ones have been the boo balls. Like I've done
Yeah.
all 3 years. I would say the very first one, you could tell it was like my first one because like I really wasn't in like a costume or anything. I didn't know what to do, so I kind of just improvised. But these next couple years, like I've collaborated with a good friend of mine, and we've done these, really great skits and stuff, and we've written out songs and skits and everything, and it's been and done the costumes. Those have been like the funnest to do. I would
Yeah.
love to be able to do like even more extensively, like go on a location and film or something, but it's usually just here at the house. But those have been a lot of fun to put together, like to think of what are you going to do? What costume are you going to wear? What's our skit going to be? It's fun to do. So those for sure have been the funnest. And I'm getting into because October or September, I went on my very first trip to Disney after being a YouTuber. Like the last time I was there, I was not doing YouTube at the time. That's
Yeah.
been that many years. And so I finally got to go. So now like I got to put out like my trailer and my travel day, and I'm getting ready to put out like the park vlogs for that. So those are going to be, I think, fun because even just looking back at that footage, I'm like, oh, I missed the park so much. I want to go back because it was so quick. The trip like went like that,
Yeah.
But those are fun. Those are just fun to do. Like travel days, I think I love watching travel days. So it was fun to be able to put that one together too. So
Yeah. I love seeing vlogs in general. So I'm really excited to see your videos coming up. But yeah, I think there's like usually types of content that were always like your favorite that you enjoy, but those are fun to watch and to create. So kind of pivoting a little bit, I wanted to talk about, this. We talked a little bit about like our specific history at the beginning and like why you made a big impact on my life specifically, but you've also made a big impact on a lot of other people's lives. We talked a little bit about, you always trying to reach out to people and being very welcoming, very kind. But you also, you are a big supporter and do a lot with the Facebook group. You have your section you post, which is not just the Disney post, not just the Disney post. You've been doing that, and kind of helping run that that Facebook page, which I imagine it can be a lot at sometimes to kind of help moderate that. From what I've heard, yeah, to help run it.
Well,
It's a
because
job.
well, and for anybody who doesn't know, my friend Nina at Wrestling with Disney, she started that Facebook group, and she asked me to be an admin with her. So I'm actually an admin. Her and I are the only admins, and then we had some moderators, but they've kind of dropped off lately. But so yes, I do. We run specific posts, and we don't encourage that putting that sub for sub kind of content out there. So
Yes.
whenever the group is primarily a Disney Facebook group, so you post Disney videos, but when you have something that you put on your channel that's not a Disney post, that is the post that I run, that I put up every week. It's every Sunday. So it went up today. And then anybody who wants to share a video goes into that post and puts a video that is not a Disney content. It goes into that particular post. People engage, through that and stuff. So I don't always get to watch everyone's video that puts in there, but I try to I like everyone's comments, and I might comment on a couple people's just to kind of help with engagement. But that's something I need to get a little bit better at as well, just because, it's tough. It's tough to deal with. So, and then running the group too, at first we were having, we had some people that maybe weren't necessarily following the rules. So you have to kind of enforce the rules kind of thing. So It's interesting because you're basically it's almost like being a boss to someone in a way, because if your employee is not following the rules, you kind of have to reprimand them and talk to them or whatever. So we've only had to kick one person out of the group in the last 4 years. And thankfully everyone else has been very accommodating. So but yeah, it's a lot of fun. The group is great because it's not only just for posting your links, but people ask questions. People, if they're thinking about doing something on their channel and they want to ask someone's advice, or, hey, what do you think of this thumbnail? What do you guys think? Would this be a great thumbnail to put up? It's just a great sounding board and a community to just uplift each other in YouTube.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think for the most part, I've seen mostly positive interactions with people. You'll have occasionally, I think people will disagree and it'll get a little dicey. But for the most part, people are really, really kind and respectful. And I think it's a great place to go, especially when you're starting out. Even for me, I was always kind of shy about posting questions, but if I had a question, you can kind of search through the post and I'll see if someone already asked it, or kind of read, follow on comments. And it's really informative because a lot of people do ask questions that you may have wondered yourself. And you also get to meet a lot of cool people in that group as well. It's a good networking opportunity, and
that's
just
how I met
supporting.
you.
Yeah. That's how we ended up meeting, actually, which I think I was a part of the group before when I
posted a video, I think, and that's how I went to watch it, because I've met pretty much everybody I know is through that group. So
yeah, a lot of majority of my friends on YouTube I have met through the Facebook group. So it's hard. It's hard to believe, if it didn't exist, I just don't even know. I really don't.
No.
And I bet a lot of people in the community can say that, because it's just changed my whole YouTube experience. And I think you just have to go into it, and definitely, if you go, just be positive and be kind with people. And I do think that people give good feedback as well, but for the most part, it's very constructive and very good. And the link to the group is down below, so you guys can check that out. I do think you have to submit a request.
I was just going to get into that. You have to answer the questions, or you won't, and agree to the rules, or you will not get accepted. But you need to put your YouTube channel link and that kind of stuff. So you'll just have to answer a few questions. But yeah, I mean, and it's even a great way for people, if they're planning a collaboration, or if they want to do something for Vlogmas, they'll ask, hey, is anybody interested in, working on this project or doing this particular collaboration? So it's just a wonderful networking tool out there. So it really
is. And that's how, like I said, that's how we met. Now I did, message you when we collabed. I messaged you privately, because we had already kind of talked before.
Right.
With Ajana Claire, who I had on last week, and Ajana Claire was a big tool in me meeting a lot of my friends now. And because we kind of had our own we got our own little friend group at a certain point, but she commented on one of my posts, and it was the post about our tag. And, she told me last week, she was like, I didn't know anything about tags. I'd never done a tag. So she was messaging me privately and she's like, hey, like, what is this? Like, how do you do this? And like all that. And, asking questions. So it is a really good, like, if you don't know something, like it's good. Like you can ask people and be like, this is my first time doing a tag. And like a lot of people who did respond to me, said that. And it was my first time doing like a collab tag. So like I was making mistakes and Allie was being like, oh, this is something I would have done a little different, for your next one and like being really nice about it. But you definitely learn, by I think interacting with people more than you do by just like not having that community, having to figure it all out on your own. So
For sure.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Allie, you have another group. Yes, where you it's your Cinderella fan page.
It's the Cinder Ali fan. Yeah, it's the Cinderella / Disney fan group. But
Yeah.
I mean, I hardly have any members in there, and I haven't gotten a lot of engagement in it at all. I try to post like something in there every now and then, but I pretty much just use my regular Cinder Ali Loves Disney Facebook page. It's not a group, but
Yeah.
I do try to get a group going, but I didn't really have too much engagement in it. So that's okay. I was like, that's all right. I actually have a lot more followers and interactions on Instagram than I do on Facebook. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just, you have to find what works for you. Everything's so different for everyone. Okay. So we have already kind of talked about tips, throughout. But do you have you have some others. Okay, I'm like, because that was a question. Do you have any tips specifically for anyone starting out or even anyone that already has a YouTube channel?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing, if you haven't thought about planning some things on it or really deciding where you want to take your channel, that's something you may want to consider or do at this point in the game, whether you've started or not. But once you have started it, I would say definitely do not give up. Like it's something that I thought of many times. I've taken a step back many times, but it's like, if you're committed to it and it makes you happy and it brings you that joy, don't give up on it. But also on the flip side of that, be sure that you are able to, what level of commitment you can give to it, because it takes commitment. You've got to think of what you want to create. You have to be able to edit those videos and post them and engage with people. So you definitely want to make sure you don't overcommit yourself and that you can put the time in to do it. So yeah.
I'm a bad offender of that one right there. So that one's one I can say you definitely need to not overcommit yourself. There's a reason, like if you look at big channels though, like for real, like really big channels that are so successful and you would think, oh, they must post like 5 days a week or 3 days a week or whatever. A lot of them are 1 or 2 days a week. So like you feel like you have to commit yourself like all this, or I do anyways. Like I've always been like, I have like a lot of content ideas, but then it's like I don't have the time to do it. And so I've always struggled on that front. But then I look at them like, you know what, Kaylee, you need 1 to 2 days. That's all you need. You need to quit trying to make this like a television show.
Think of it this way. Like the way I think of it for myself is I can't commit. I have a hard time committing to watching someone more than once a week. Like if someone's putting out 5 videos a week, I'm probably not going to be able to watch all those. So my thought process is I can put out 1 video a week and I can also commit to watching at least 1 video a week from most people. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that all the time, but I at least try to get 1 from somebody out in a week, so.
Yeah, I do think I've seen some like, YouTubers that have posted videos before of like, oh, I tried doing like a Vlogmas or I tried uploading every day to see if like their engagement went up. And a lot of times it really doesn't. I do think there's certain people that it does, but like, or even like daily vloggers, right? Like that's what their fans expect, right? They expect a video every day, but if not, then like sometimes it can be overwhelming and it can be too much. And even for the person, like that's one thing where I'm like, it takes a lot especially too, if you're just like churning them out and you're like, oh, I'm just going to have a video every day. Then you're like, well, what's the quality of those videos? Are those like the best quality? Because that matters too, you know? So I think that's a really good tip.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like you just hit the
Yeah.
nail on the head. It's like, I want to make sure I'm putting out quality content and content I can feel good about, that I've been able to put the time in to edit it the way I want to and make a good product that is put out, and not just put something out just for putting it out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I've been that person too, where I'm like, I'm just gonna edit this and get it out. And then the worst part ever is when you like upload it, or you're about to upload it and you watch through it and you're like, oh dang, there's a mistake. There was one
Yeah,
I
that
did
is
for
the worst part.
Vlogmas. There was one I did for Vlogmas last year that like it wasn't a bad mistake, but you know, like when you're the one editing it, like you pick up all the mistakes because you like when you're coming back, because you're like, oh dang, I like did that and I shouldn't have done that and it was a mistake. But there was one, it was like a title card that just stayed on for like for 10 seconds too long. And I was like, oh whatever, it's on there. Like, you know, I wasn't gonna redo the whole video, but you do like, and that was during Vlogmas. So like I do think it's helpful to like, if you can even pre-record and pre-edit before you like launch your channel, or like with me, you know, I'm taking a break to rebrand, but before I come back, I want to have a few videos like already done. I think that's really helpful for your mental health, but also for the quality of the channel, you know, to have where you're not such like on a timeline of I've got to get it filmed and I got to get it edited and perfect and like the thumbnail and the description in like a week, you know, which can be overwhelming for some people.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah. I also liked your tip about don't quit though, because that's a good one.
I've been there. I've been there like so many times over, you know, everything. Like you said, over the not getting the subscribers, or not feeling like you're getting back what you're putting into it, or just not having the time or the energy to put into it at all.
Yeah. I agree. I think,
No,
yeah.
I don't think so. I
Yeah.
enjoy
I
it.
mean,
I taught myself how to edit videos, and I found out that I enjoy doing that. I enjoy creating the video and editing a video. So yeah.
And you do a really good job. I think it was it Vlogmas or for just you had a really good intro one time, and I was like, Allie, this is like
I think it was the
so
Vlogmas
cute.
one, yeah.
I was obsessed. Okay, I was obsessed. I messaged you and I'm like, this is I'm having feelings because this is so good. And I will fangirl over other people's edits. I really will, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so nice. Like, and sometimes, you know, I'll like give myself a little pat on the back because I'm like, you figured it out. Because there are people, and I think this is an idea if you're like really confused on editing, like there are probably YouTube videos that will explain every editing system. Have I watched any of those videos? I have not. So everything I do editing wise, I figured out myself.
Now what I'm trying to perfect is how to do like all those little videos that people do on Instagram, like not just the reels, but like all those cool little videos that they're putting out with the screens that change and all the effects and all that kind of stuff. And so I've done a couple of them, but they're not as extravagant as some people's, but it's a learning curve. It's a learning process.
Yeah, I do think it's a good idea to like actually like figure it out before you start. But a lot of people, including me, do not do that. I don't know what it is, but like for me, I always jump in head first. And then like I'll find things out months later that I should have found out on day one if I would have watched the video. So like I do think there like if you can take a little bit of time beforehand, like with you planning out your like taking the time to plan it out, I do think it's worth it in the long run.
It is.
But it's hard to do that if you're like me and I'm like a squirrel and I'm like, oh, let me just do it right now.
Yeah. Well, and you know, like I said, it's kind of like it's a learning process. And one thing we have to remember is this is not like our full-time job that gives us money. This is like, in a sense, it's a hobby at best, or it's a creative outlet. I look at it as a creative outlet, or it's something I choose to do with my spare time. So, you know, that's again, while you can't hold yourself get stressed about it so much, because it's not like your income, like it's something you're doing for fun, you know, so have fun at it. So,
I agree.
For sure.
All right. Did you have any more tips before we move on, or was that it? I didn't want to.
I think, I pretty much said everything.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like the biggest like nerd, so I'm always like, fun fact, fun tip. So we kind of do them throughout the live. Okay, so the last question I have, which is, what do you have coming up on your channel? We already talked a little bit. You do eventually want to do the live show, but do you have anything else in the works or coming up that you
Yes,
want to talk about?
I do. Actually, tomorrow I'm participating in a collaboration. It's put on by Val at Singer Family Adventures, and it's
Yeah.
called Celebrating Collections, People, and Pins. So
Oh yeah.
tomorrow's video is glittery and shiny pins. So
Oh
I will have that video going up tomorrow. But I did have one come out yesterday, and that was that I finally joined the world of happy planners. A lot of people do like
yes,
happy
yes,
planners. And it's a Disney themed planner, and I absolutely
yes,
love it. So that was a fun one. And then I'm not doing it this month, but as far as a broader aspect, I do participate in the Year of the Ear exchange, which I know you're in as well. And that's just where a bunch of us get together and either hand make or order a handmade pair of ears, like from an Etsy shop, and we exchange with someone. So, and I've learned recently, I taught myself how to make ears. That's another thing. I've been making ears for people. And so I've been enjoying that too. But again, this is
yeah,
all like what I do with my time when I'm not working or doing stuff around the house, or, family and friends and all that kind of stuff. So that's been a lot of fun. So Year of the Ear, I will be participating in that throughout the year. Not every single month though, but it'll be.
yeah.
And then just like I've got a couple, like I have a brand new product of something that I tried that I'm kind of putting out there. It is a Disney themed thing. So that will be coming out. I also am continuing my movie reviews. I've been trying to watch some new Disney movies. I mean, and
Yeah.
these are new to me.
Right. No,
Some,
you know me, I'm behind, so I
yeah,
feel
like
you.
some of these movies may have been out for years already, but I have not seen them yet. And so I've been watching them and I want to do more reviews on there. So, yeah, that and the live show. And, I'm just kind of trying to do a little bit more of maybe what my life is like as far as a lifestyle. Like I've done a couple day in the life videos, so I may do some of those later. Just whatever is happening in my life may pop up. It's not always, because I do primarily stick with the Disney theme on my channel, but every now and then I'll throw something out there that's lifestyle. And of course, my park vlogs from
Yeah.
September/October will be coming out, and hopefully I'll be able to get one of them out before the month's up, but those will be to come, so stay tuned on those.
That is so exciting. Yeah, my park vlogs are from October. They're still not up. So I feel you. I feel you on that. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see some more of your ears too, because I enjoyed seeing some of the ears that you made for Year of the Ear um
Yeah, the one
last
that's going
year.
to be this month, I'm like super proud of the ones I did for this month. So I can't wait to watch. My person already messaged me and absolutely loves them, but I can't wait to see
Yeah.
the reaction opening it too. So
Now, which month was it for January that
yes.
you said?
Yeah, what am
Okay,
I
it was.
saying? I said I wasn't in this month.
Yeah, I know.
What?
I was kind of confused. I was like, is it for
Yeah.
January? What month are we doing? Okay.
Sorry, I was thinking that I didn't because the signups for the year or for the next few months came out this month, and I
Yeah.
didn't commit to anything. But for this month, yes, that is coming out this Saturday, the 22nd. And I did hand make the ears that I sent to my person. I actually sent two, which is a big
Oh,
commitment for me as well. So,
yeah.
yeah, I can't wait to see her opening them and what her reactions were. So, very
Yeah. These
excited.
are actually Year of the ears
Very
myself.
cool.
Yes. I got them from the McDorks.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Christina.
Yeah. I actually got Christian and Michael actually both have sent to me. So I really have enjoyed that's really a cool thing as well about Year of the Ear is you get to like it's a great collaboration thing. So
Yeah,
that's
you get to
another
meet new
fun little
people.
tip.
I've actually
Yes.
met quite a few new channels that I've connected with through those exchanges. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It's any kind of like swap, I think is really fun to do. All right. Well, thank you so much, Allie, for joining me. I really appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Thank you for having
You
me.
Have been a pleasure. Of course, like when I created this, you were like one of the first people I was like, I must have Ali on there because Ali, like, when you have like anything that happens and like, I'm like a weirdo and like philosophy and thinking like, oh my gosh, like you think back to this one moment and you think if this one thing didn't happen, my life would be so different. And, you are a big part of that. And I really do
Wow.
truly think that if we would have, if I wouldn't have reached out and if you wouldn't have been so kind to me back, a little over a year ago, I really truly think my life would be very different now. Probably not for the positive. It probably like this is
No.
so I really do appreciate you and I appreciate you coming on here and sharing some of your journey and your tips and being able to talk about the impact that you do make in this community. So
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, and I
yeah.
appreciate you having me and for thinking of me.
No problem. And I'll be back next week. I actually have your bestie coming on next week. I have Nina coming.
Nina.
So I'm really excited to have her on as well. So she's the one that created the Facebook group. So we're going to get some more into the Facebook group next week. But yeah, so everyone check out Ali's channel. The links will be down below as well to the Facebook group. Everything. You got a TikTok, you said too. That was what I had to add. I'm trying to get on TikTok myself, so that's fine. All those will be in the description box, and we will see you later.